Ding dong, Gareth Southgate is gone. Hey guys, welcome to the channel, welcome to another video. Yes, today's big breaking news story comes from the England camp as Gareth Southgate has today decided to step down as the England manager. It brings an end to almost 8 years of his reign as the England boss, and following Sunday's disappointing defeat to Spain in the European Championship final, a lot of people were questioning whether or not Southgate would stay or whether he would go. And today we have our answer as Southgate has decided to walk away from the England managerial position. We're going to be talking about England. We're going to be talking about what's next for the England camp. We're going to be talking about Southgate, what's next for him, looking over his reign, of course, as the England manager. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always incredibly greatly appreciated. Get involved in the comment section as well. Let me know your thoughts, your comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That makes a great interesting reading, I'm sure, down below, because I'm sure there is a lot of thoughts and opinions buzzing around out there on this major news story. So please do use and abuse that comment section, people. Talk to me on this big breaking news on this very dull Tuesday morning. But I want to know from you guys what you think about all of this. So without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's talk Gareth Southgate. Let's talk England and everything else in between. Look, for those of you who do not know me, welcome along to the channel. Or if you do know me, you'll know that I'm not exactly Gareth Southgate's biggest fan. I think he should have left years ago. I think he probably should have left after the 2018 World Cup, in all honesty. But obviously we are here now 6 years later, and we are still without any kind of major international tournament honours. The fact of the matter is that despite me heavily criticising Gareth Southgate a lot down the years for his tactics and for his sentimental kind of team selections and squad selections and things of that nature, among other things, I haven't hated everything about Southgate's reign as England manager. The fact of the matter is that there are certain elements of Southgate's reign as manager that I have actually liked and I've actually admired. And I've said it in videos time and time again down the years. I like how he's managed to unite the squad. I like how he's managed to sort of bridge the gap that was somewhat developing between the England squad and the fans. I like the way that we've got far in major tournaments because it's been great for the country. Should we have done more? I think in a couple of those tournaments you could argue, yes, we should have done more. But at the same time, still getting far in those tournaments on a results-based competition, yeah, I can somewhat admire that to a certain degree. But the fact of the matter is that I'm not exactly his biggest fan, because among those things and among how he carries himself, how well spoken he is, how much of a good representative he is of the FA and England as a country and as a footballing nation whenever he goes abroad and goes to these tournaments, and how he represents sort of us, I admire that. But as a footballing person, I can't get on board with anything that he does. I can't get on board with his tactics. I can't get on board with his philosophy and his ideology. And I can't get on board with, how he wants to play. And I can't get on board with the sentimental values that he holds for certain players, despite the fact that certain other players will be better in those positions and better to be played. That's just my thoughts on Southgate as a manager, and then separately as a person. I like Southgate as a person. I don't necessarily like him as a manager. I think that given the current crop of English talent that we have, whether it's the 26 men that went to Germany in this European Championship, whether it be the many others that missed out on being included in that squad, whether it be the ones that are in the under 21s right now, whether it be the ones that are in the under 18s right now, you've got a very, very promising, high potential squad which is coming through, which for the most part doesn't necessarily suit the way that this guy wants to play his football. And it's not necessarily his fault, that's just the way that he wants to play. It just does not connect. It does not correspond with the current squad we've got. When you look at this current England squad, it is full to the brim of talent. It is absolutely oozing with quality. And when you look at it, the main strong points are its attack. The main strong points are its attack. It's got plenty of skill, plenty of flair, plenty of pace, plenty of creativity. Southgate just restricted that way too much. He had the handbrake on way too much. And that squad could not flourish out on any sort of football pitch. And it was constantly not living up to the potential that it had on paper. Constantly. And that's where I think Southgate went wrong, because we have the tools to win these kinds of international tournaments. You look back at even his first major tournament. We got further than we believed in Russia in 2018. But the fact of the matter is, we still could have gone further. If Southgate had been a bit more braver, a bit more courageous in that game against Croatia when we went 1-0 up, we could have gone further. But we didn't. Against Italy in the European Championship 3 years ago, in the final, we went 1-0 up. Italy were there for the taking, and yet we played so defensively that eventually Italy managed to find an equaliser and then ultimately win on penalties. That was his mistake. Against France, a France side that were not the best, despite the fact they have an amazing team on paper, they were there for the taking again, and we just let it slip. And against Spain on Sunday, we had the players, we had the weapons at our disposal to use, and we could have really hurt Spain in a number of key areas. But through sentimental reasons again, through maybe being a more reactionary manager more than proactive, we were let down again. We were let down again, and ultimately it led to failure in that competition, when really England, going into it as one of the major favourites to go on and win that tournament, bottled it and fell away at the final hurdle yet again. His time as England manager will be looked on as a what could have been story. What could have happened had he been a bit more braver? What could have happened had he been a bit more, had he had a bit more of a spine and maybe dropped Harry Kane for the final of the European Championships in 2024? What could have happened if he decided to play Trent Alexander-Arnold in his more natural position? What could have happened if he'd have played Anthony Gordon on the left wing rather than try and put a blend of Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham into the same squad, which clearly does not fit? It'll be a what could have been story for Southgate constantly. And as far as the question goes of where does he go now, look, results wise, it might be able to do him to get him into a Premier League job. The results don't lie, even though the performances were poor. The results might get him into a Premier League job, a low level Premier League job. I'm talking like, well, to say low level, I'm talking like maybe, if Sean Dyche was to go, maybe in Everton, for example, or like a Wolves maybe somewhere down the line, or something like that. With all due respect, the results might be enough to get him that kind of level of job. Ultimately, though, I think if I'm being harsh and I'm being completely honest, Championship. This guy is Championship/League One manager. If you want results, go to this guy. If you want good football and results, don't go for this guy, because, like I say, the football at times was so poor, so dire, and it just did not go hand in hand with the squad that we have, and that's just the ultimate downfall of Gareth Southgate as England manager. Like I say, There are many things I do like about him. He's well spoken. He represented England very, very well wherever he went. Carried himself beautifully. If he's not looking at a manager position, he could definitely take up being like a representative or something with the FA because of how well he did during that time at being that kind of ambassador sort of role. No problem with that whatsoever. But at the same time as being a football manager, it just did not go hand in hand with him, unfortunately, with this England squad. And he's finally gone. And like I say, I think it comes way too late. But at the same time, now we can at least start preparations for the World Cup in 2 years' time. Now, who will be the manager of this England squad in 2 years' time? That is now going to be the question on everybody's lips. The FA have supposedly drawn up a bit of a four-man shortlist. I was seeing that today. There was seemingly a four-man shortlist that's been going around social media. The four names that are on it: Eddie Howe, that seems to be one of the front runners. Currently of Newcastle, of course, so that could be very interesting there to see if he will jump ship to manage his national team. Graham Potter. You know what? As much as people may laugh at Graham Potter, I think that one could be the finer choice, the better choice, and I'll explain why in a bit. Maurizio Pochettino has been mentioned, which is interesting because, of course, he's Argentinian. Usually the FA have gone with this sort of must-be English approach to manage the England team. So that one is very interesting to see if they're going to try and go back to the more foreign managerial route, which, again, might not be a bad choice, in all honesty, if, of course, they can tempt him in. And the fourth one, Lee Carsley. I think that one's mainly just there because I think, isn't he managing the under-21s or something? I think he's, or has experience of managing the under-21s. I'm not 100% sure where he's at right now. But yes, Graham Potter would be my choice. And the reason why Graham Potter would be my choice is because he plays a nice style of football. I think that he could really work wonders with this squad. And when you look at international football, barring the odd couple of exceptions here and there, the managers aren't exactly the elite class of managers, are they? They're not exactly at the top tier of the managerial spectrum. So, Potter, I think, would suit in very, very well. Plays a nice style of play. He'll have the players at his disposal. And I think we could actually get some very good performances out of both this England side and with Potter as manager. Yes, his time at Chelsea will not be remembered fondly. Yes, his time at Chelsea was a little bit deluded when you look back at some of the comments that he made, but ultimately I don't personally believe he was given a fair crack at the whip with that job. So I like the idea of Potter. I like the idea of Howe, to be perfectly honest, but I think he should probably stay away from this role as of right now, and I think he should continue with Newcastle. I like the idea of Potter. I like the idea of Pochettino as well. But again, it's how fully on board are the FA with going down the foreign route of manager. That, of course, they've sworn away from since the likes of Sven-Göran Eriksson and, of course, Fabio Capello. So it's going to be interesting to find out who's going to be the next England manager. Personally, for me, like I say, my money would be on Graham Potter. Plus, he's free right now. He hasn't got a club. So I think, personally, I think the FA will go for him. But yes, could be very interesting to see what happens with England going forward. Let me know what you guys think and feel. These are just obviously the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of this big breaking news story today of Gareth Southgate stepping down as the manager of England? Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, will make for great and interesting reading down below in the comment section, I'm sure. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way up if you enjoy the video. Subscribe if you're a new one and see more content like this. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. and I will see you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. Speak to you all again very, very soon.